Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and my second review of the night. I'm gonna try to get 3 done. It is currently 5:29 a.m. because I'm trying to stay up and I'm cooking some fries right now, so I'm gonna do the review while I'm cooking fries, save time. Um, this time I'm not doing an Art of War film, thank God. I am reviewing Survivor from 2015. Now this is from director James McTeigue. It's from 2015. Director James McTeigue. He did V for Vendetta, which I fucking loved. Ninja Assassin, which I thought was alright. I could probably give it another watch. I was pretty tired when I watched that one. The Raven, with John Cusack, which I didn't hate. I remember thinking it was alright. And Breaking In, which was a home invasion thriller that was pretty bland, if I'm being perfectly honest. But yeah, Survivor, this is a film I remember not being a huge fan of the first time I saw it. I remember being like, I think I gave it a 5 out of 10. And I thought, you've got an interesting premise, why not go further with it? I still kind of think that, but I think this is a pretty decent enough thriller. Mostly because of 3 things: the cast, the direction, and it has a pretty damn good pace. So, it kept me interested this time around. But this film stars Milla Jovovich, Pierce Brosnan, Dylan McDermott, Angela Bassett, Robert Forster, and I'm going to give a special mention to Francis Delator. But yeah, this is a film about a Foreign Service officer in London who tries to prevent a terrorist attack set to hit New York, but is forced to go on the run when she is framed for crimes she did not commit, mostly with her other Foreign Service officers. So, this film, again, I thought it was decent. I thought it was a decent time. And, did see the comment saying, oh, most of the time when somebody says 7 out of 10, it means they don't know what to give a film. I do know what to give the film. I think it's a decent film. Now, the 8% on Rotten Tomatoes thing, don't ask me why they said that. Even when I gave it a 5 out of 10, I wouldn't have said it was 8% bad. Like 8% of the reviews being positive bad. Because I do think this film has an audience of people that'll like flip through Netflix or wherever. It's on Prime, it's on FilmRise, Freevee, Pluto TV. Yeah, I could see someone like putting this on Pluto TV, like bored one night and being like, okay, that was fun. And that's exactly how I feel about it. I think it's a fun thriller, not too long, not too short. Again, pretty starry cast, if I'm being honest. Also mentioned James Darcy. But let me get at the cast there. Milla Jovovich does a great job. I think she really fits in this type of role. She plays Kate Abbott, Foreign Service officer. I think she can really do a kind of... Sorry about that. This kind of role where she's at once a strong female character, but also a human character. What I mean by that is she doesn't have superpowers. She doesn't just know how to do things because it, and she's not like fighting the villain like a badass or anything. She's mostly getting through by the skin of her teeth. And it wouldn't make sense for her to just immediately be able to be like, oh, I can magically wield a gun, or I can throw a knife and pierce the heart of the assassin that's after me. I liked that. I liked that it wasn't just Alice again from the Resident Evil films that she plays. I'm glad that it wasn't just that indestructible character, because that's one of the issues I have with those Resident Evil movies, which I will watch them at some point. But yeah, one of my big issues is that Alice is basically indestructible. So, even when they take away her powers, she's still indestructible and can still do acrobatic bullshit. So, I liked her in this film. Pierce Brosnan, he's decent. I don't know exactly how to rate a performance like this, because he's a real, like, cold, calculating killer. He's very, serious about his job. His character is the Clockmaker, I think. He's listed on Letterboxd as Nash. I don't remember him ever being talked about with that name, so I did not remember that. But he did a good job. He seemed serious enough. He knew when to maybe crack a smile or crack a joke or whatever, and I think he works in this role quite well. Dylan McDermott as Sam Parker, he's a guy that's kind of sticking up. He's like the one guy that's like, oh, maybe we should listen to this woman, to Kate, when she's on the run, and he knows that she for sure is innocent and that there's something wrong here. And yeah, I liked his character. I could have done with a bit more that he could have done, but I understand they want to focus more on Kate Abbott and the Clockmaker as characters, because they are interesting characters. Angela Bassett as Maureen Cranepaul. I forgot what she was. Maybe she was like a secretary or something. I forgot. But she thinks that she's the one that like recommended Mila Jovovich's character be in this in Britain at this time instead of America. She like transferred her over, gave her big recommendations, and she's kind of immediately like, oh, she knows every protocol of ours, so she must be in on it. So and I understand that you have to have that type of character and multiple characters like that in a movie like this. I understand it's one of the pitfalls of this movie is that it is a bit generic, for sure. Never said it was perfect. But yeah, Angela Bassett still has a couple moments where she can shine acting-wise. I think she is a good actress. I think she's very capable, even with movies that are not, I won't say up to her qualifications, but for movies that are not like usually taxing acting-wise. It's mostly just actors there because they have to be there. Robert Forster is Bill Talbot. I like Robert Forster. I wish he had a bit more to do, of course. He's in a lot of these Millennium films. He was in Automata with Antonio Banderas, which I haven't seen yet. He was in Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, frickin' The Code that I recently saw, or Thick as Thieves. He's in a lot of these Millennium films, which I do understand. I mean, it's awesome that a guy his age is still getting work through these films, and this is also a Millennium film. I forgot to mention that. I'll get to that. But he does a decent enough job here. James Darcy's fine. And Frances de la Torre, Sally, she's like a woman on the inside that believes that, that Kate is innocent, and she's like helping her. She is kind of a classical actress, or like an older actress. She was in like, she was in a couple of the Harry Potter movies, Book of Eli. She's been in some high profile stuff. But yeah, The History Boys, which I still haven't gotten to. But yeah, pretty starry cast, pretty like impressive cast for a movie of this kind of middle budget. It was made for $20 million. That's normal for like Millennium mid-budget projects. This is around the same time as London Has Fallen. I think it was a year before. London Has Fallen had a $50 or $60 million budget, because I'm pretty sure Olympus has 70, London has 60, and Angel Has Fallen had a 40. Like, they went down in budget, but they kept going up in what they tried to do, which was cool. But yeah, this film, there's not like a ton of plot to it. It's one of those that like there's the first maybe 30 minutes is set up for the characters and set up for the backstories, and then it just runs with it. It's a non-stop thriller from minute 30 to the end. And I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I could roll with Mila Jovovich's character. I thought the Clockmaker was an interesting villain, nice and mysterious. I think James McTeague, not on James McTeague, his career has been an interesting one. There's always been the rumor that V for Vendetta was a fluke and that he didn't really direct it, but it was ghost directed by the Wachowskis. Now, the Wachowskis did write V for Vendetta, I think. No, they produced it. Apparently, that's like a theory that he didn't direct it and that the Wachowskis ghost directed it, which I don't know how far. I don't have anything to back that up. I haven't seen anything to back that up. I just remember loving V for Vendetta, and then he did Ninja Assassin, which, again, like I said, I thought was okay. I'll have to rewatch it. I remember there being really bad CGI blood, but maybe that was part of the style. And then he did The Raven, which, again, like, I remember liking better than Ninja Assassin. I still wouldn't call it fantastic, though, or even close to V for Vendetta and how good it was. And then he did Survivor, which now I think is a decent enough movie. I think it's better than Ninja Assassin as of now. I remember rating Ninja Assassin a 3. Or a 6, 6 out of 10. And then Breakin' In. Breakin' In is easily his worst film. I'm pretty sure I gave that a 5 out of 10. It's not a good film. For the most part, it was just Gabrielle Union's performance, and that I thought it went at a good pace. And it got decently violent with the unrated version, which was nice. But yeah, Survivor, it's kind of your normal, like, I guess you could call it a political thriller. That's what they call it in the special features. I will say, in the making of, the making of is only 5 minutes, which I wish it was a bit longer, but it seemed like the actors wanted to call it a political thriller. I guess you could call it that. It's more of just a chase thriller with not a lot of, like, action scenes. There's a couple sprinkled in there, but it's more of a thriller, which is not Millennium's main thing. Their main thing is action, or action thrillers, which, yeah, I think this fits that mold perfectly. I liked the film. I thought it went at a really good pace. I never got bored. It was, 96 minutes? Yeah, 96 minutes. I think if you go into this expecting an action-packed film, you're gonna be disappointed. But if you go into it expecting, it's gonna be alright, fun, decent thriller that you don't really think a lot about, because there are inconsistencies, there are plot holes, whatever. I don't really usually care about plot holes unless they really break the story for me. But yeah, I think this is a fun film. So I got to the pros and cons. The pros, the cast. Again, let me read them off. Mila Jovovich, Pierce Brosnan, Dylan McDermott, Angela Bassett, Robert Forster, James Darcy, Francis de la Tour. Like, a great cast there. Maybe not everybody knows who James Darcy and Francis de la Tour is. But, just as a reminder, James Darcy was in Dunkirk, Cloud Atlas, Master and Commander, Oppenheimer, Jupiter Ascending, The Snowman, Hitchcock, Let's Be Cops, Exorcist, The Beginning. Like, he's been in a ton of shit. But yeah, first rate cast right there. Really good production values. There are a couple of uses of CGI. I think there was maybe an explosion, like when the Clockmaker's testing out his rifle and he explodes like a car park. There are a couple bits of CG explosions that don't look the greatest. There's a practical explosion near around the 30-minute mark that is really well done, very well executed, and it looked very real. I mean, it looked like an explosion done because of a bomb instead of like propane tank or whatever they used. I don't know how this shit works. But decent action set pieces. The couple that were in the film. I'm blanking here. I'm trying to operate on little bits of sleep. Again, the film ran at a fast pace. The score from Ilan Eshkeri, I think I got that right, was fun. Nice electronic beats to it, which I thought worked very well. Film looks nice. Looks very professional. Yeah, the cons. I do wish Robert Forster had more to do. Always want to see more of him. Love the guy. I understand he probably had like a picture deal with them, and that's why he appeared in so many of their films. But I just always want to see more of him. I do think Angela Bassett's character could have had a bit more depth instead of just being the raging bitch character where she's like, oh, this woman that I've trusted all my life, I don't trust her now. We've got to throw our agent under the bus, that kind of thing. She's kind of that character. It is a bit cliched. Again, like I said, this isn't like a ridiculously smart film or a super original film. It's very much the kind of the fugitive type of thing, like kind of like Art of War, which I just saw. Can't escape it. But again, the bit of CG in the car park that gets exploded, the little tiny explosions that you see of the cars in the distance don't look that good. Yeah, I wish it was a bit more original. I wish there was a bit more of an original flair to it, maybe a bit more of a directorial flair. But yeah, it's still not a bad film. It's not bad really at all to me now. It is a bit generic. Yes, I'll give you that. If you're looking for like super original films other than like The Book of Henry, I won't say this is an original film. I'm just saying, in conclusion, because I want to finish this. In conclusion, this is a decent film. It works for what it's trying to do. It's trying to be a spy thriller or a political thriller, but it works for that. Mila Jovovich does a good job. Pierce Brosnan does a good job. The entire cast does a good job. And I think it should be enjoyed for just that. So, hope you liked the review. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, whatever, and movie review next door. Out.